Man, shit. Nah, nah. Listen, this is this is awesome. This is awesome. You know, it's the time in the Sunday morning where there was millions of people deciding what to do this day, and whose mindset is to go to church, and whose mindset is to venture out and spend that time with families. The mindset of millions are different this morning, and it's according to what time you went to bed, and it's according to what your history and your culture is like. If you're someone that will wake up in the morning on a Sunday morning and get your family ready, or your friends or neighbors, and just do the church. If you're a different kind of individual where you just wait for the day to play out and see what will and how will it go. If you're different in the way you go about Sunday, it's just one of those days where it's the Christmas day of the year. It's the kind of it's the Christmas day of the week. It's the it's a day where millions don't really know what to do at times unless they have a set way of going about today. And some will attend church, some will be still on the road traveling, some will still trying to recover for a wonderful night, some will head into fishing, and it's a start of a wonderful month. It's a start of a interesting, and with 2 days to go, it's gonna be, and it's just more than we can say how it falls at this time of year with 2 more days to celebrate. So it's like we're looking at a complete week of just spending that time together with each other, having fun, and creating the time that we need to create with each other, build on the time that we have now. It's a journey and a story. It's uh, it's lovely where I'm at right now, and able to see the rivers, able to see how beautiful time can be and how we can be. As in your teens and as you grow and as you be mature about life, the character that you create within your teenage years, and you build on that character. A certain time But that's the foundation of a person that you create and a person that you build on and strive on. But it's amazing to understand that as time changes, that character does change also, because it's not necessarily not relentless anymore. It's not necessarily you're not the best of you anymore. It's like there's a saying: you choose the battles to fight, and then you understand what makes sense. You narrow it down. It's not about the physical aspect of life anymore. With some, it's about the physical aspect as well as maintaining a certain composure, maintaining a certain character. But somewhere along that part, you starting to dissect and organize your ideas of what's worth your fight, what words you challenge, what makes more sense to fight for, what makes more sense to live for, makes more sense to achieve, what makes more sense to win, what makes more sense to believe. Fireworks, my name is Taz. Because it's for me, it's just it's what you learn from it. It's what you gain from this experience of time and learning and watching and admiring others and how they utilize the time of life, how they utilize their their ability to win and to grow, how they utilize their energy to exceed their greatest potential, how they utilize their character to enhance their culture, to enhance themselves, how they utilize their character to build the brave ones, the brave ones, the brave people, the explorers, the builders. I'd make this one is really a fun one. When I think about it, it's really a fun one. I hope you find it interesting also, and I hope you find it as fun as well. I said, I said, it's funny what I used to think that it's funny how what COVID done, but when I think about the wonderful things that happened after it and came about soon after, it's just amazing. And I made a fun about it saying like the core people that works really hard right now and the core people that exceed their potential at this time and the other core people just so disappointed in a time where we were able to stay home and get everyone able to stay home and get some money. But that don't necessarily happen all the time. But I think that was just something that was really because every generation would think about, man, how could we not work so hard and stay home and get some money. But the funny thing about this is you don't know if it was luck or unluck for this situation to play out the way it played out. You don't know, but it was a time. in time that the world stopped, and it was a time in time that we all learned so much from each other, and it was a time in time where it was interesting because no, we could stay home and learn so much more, and it was a way that like now we had to improvise. So the people had to improvise in a lot of ways. They had to improvise ideas. It's kind of like you had to use the other side of your thoughts and ideas to exercise a more creative aspect of building and creating and utilizing what was here, because it was a time that it showed us what could have, or what life can be like and could have been like. So many had to really think back and step back for a minute. Many had got times with their family, and many had got the time to really think about, life itself and what it really means to them. Many would talk about the challenging time of it, but we all had faced a challenge time. But I was more optimistic about what could we all learn from this, and I was more optimistic about the good would promise, because I always think that that would make a huge difference. But how much of the huge difference will be elaborate on as to the downside of it. But is not necessarily what we probably look for the outcome or the result to be at times, but there is always an outcome and a result which we are grateful for, and we're happy to see that how we could utilize the other side of ourselves and our mind to build and to create. But I don't know what you're doing at this time, this Sunday. I don't know if you're fixing, because it's different for many people. It's like at 9:20 right now. It's there's family members that, according to their tradition, they'll attend church. There's tradition that, according to their tradition, they'll spend that time with their kids, with their family, sit down and have a little breakfast. There's a time and now where some members of the family are still getting up and traveling to see other members. Some people just left home yesterday or today and still on the road. And then there is another crew of people like the truck drivers out there that decide to stay in a different state, decides to hold that load overnight, hold that load till tomorrow, park up with 34-hour reset. Um, there's that crew of people that still have the city open up and has the town still in motion, still doing what they do. The shops, the malls, the restaurants, the lobbies, the front decks are still open. The coffee shop's still open. There's still that rotation, and there's still that town and still that city still open to receive and exit the travelers that are entering and exiting at the same time. So, what are you doing today? That's the question. What would, but most of all, I find it real fun that in 2 days' time, this would be just such a good time for a family, and especially for the kids and mom and dad. It's like they get this time to really rest at this time. Not much production to be productive. The production of being in productive in manufacturing or possible in products is not necessarily be in the highest form at this time, but something else that matters will be taking place in this that time. Togetherness with families and togetherness with friends. And it gives a long range and a good outlook on as you roll into 4th of July. It gives you enough time to really, unlike if you had fallen a Saturday or if you had fell on a Sunday. Now with this extended time, it gives you a better outlook of time, preparation time, and time to how to really get it together with your family to actually really celebrate the upcoming event. So it does give us people a good time to work our way into 4th of July with it. We're edge up and anticipating what we'll to look ahead for, what would be to do and what how to express it and how to have a good time at this time leading up to it. But then again, this is Freshly Design 360. My name is Stas Fireworks, and for all the fam out there, it's Sunday. I'm gonna cruise right into it because right now, sunlight, man, the outlook on the mountain, fireworks, you can see the smoke. I used to wonder what the smoke stands for. It's on fire, but you know, it's just the way the place expresses itself. It, it's just the way a life, as the possible locals would say, it's the way of life, it's the way of here, it's the way of now, and it's the way. You know what's amazing about this settings and how the ridge of the mountains are and how the setting is? It's in the way of life here is culture is such a culture is such a culture is such an amazing thing, and it's always going to be a battle between culture and innovation. It's always going to be a battle between disruptive business and business that's have sustained years of value in a certain dimension. There's always going to be that situation because a culture, I said, a man with no culture, a life with no culture, it's no life. A man with no culture is no man. But the innovation and disruptive behavior of all these three different processes is always going to be what it is. And I guess, I guess if you look at it this way, so culture is such a foundation of everything. But then you have transition of time and time and then you have disruptive behavior of time and companies and business. But in the three different dimension of this situation, there's always going to be of this sort because a culture reminds a culture reminds us of where we're coming from. So for the for the wealthy that sponsor the culture's events and for the poor that sponsors that mainly, because the poor mainly revolve around what culture stands for, and some of the middle class, I think. But this will always be a this, but it's neither good or bad because we have to have consistent time so we can learn more, and we have to have the cultural time where we can know where we're coming from and where we're going, and then you have the disruptive time so we know what to look ahead for. But anyway, then again, my name is Taz, and I'm gonna go on a 5 minutes break at 9:30, and then we can come back and we can. No, don't feed the bears. I tell you, because they'll be thinking your meals on wheels. And furthermore, I've been working all morning. Yeah, I've been really, yeah, shit, man. I've been working so hard this morning. Like I've been up since 4 o'clock. Yeah, and I've seen the sun, and like the early morning sun. You know what the most amazing sun is? I'm gonna tell you what is the most amazing sunlight is. I'm gonna tell you. One of the most amazing sunlight is to see the sunset when you're standing on the beach side and watch the sunrise in the morning time over the ocean. That's one of the that's one of the most beautiful settings for sun right now. That's just, and even though the moon is different because it displays its character in such a vast variety of times. But I tell you, it's something special to see the sunset over the ocean. It's something special to see. That is, and if you notice, it's always been on a souvenir or a postcard. It's that moment that you capture at that time. It's just always beautiful to watch and to see that. But anyway, right now where I'm at, you can see the sunset, the sunshine over the mountain. You can see the outlay. You can see people traveling. It's not picked up yet though. Everybody's still sleepy and grouchy. Everybody's still trying to wake up from doing nothing. Yeah, yeah, because it was Saturday, so it's not like they're really, really tired or anything. They're just like, yeah, like I don't know. They're taking a slow time to wake. I guess they're probably just sleep in. They party too much. But the 4th of July coming up, though, it'll be extremely. It's gonna be interesting to see that as we roll into that time, how we can have a look at the our what it stands for as we roll into it. It's a heads up going into the history of it, and then possible um, there will be more events and more. It give enough time for for us and people to create event leading up to this time. So as like if 4th of July was on like a Sunday or a Saturday, then it would just packed everything in where everyone will be looking back to head to work on Monday or Tuesday. But with this extension and this extended time, more events can be anticipated and scheduled for people like you and I to be a part of and at that time to just spend time with each other in the different events that's going to be booked and it's going to be at different locations throughout the country. But this gives us a time that we can actually schedule time to participate in these different events and be present at these different events throughout the country and celebrate the what it stands for being here and celebrate for why we're here, what free speech, liberty, for what's the recognition of the time stands for, and the journey that was already here and the journey that was manifested itself into now.